Trump's curse on American farmers is a blessing for Brazil's. Trump killed U.S. soybean farmers who have lost their biggest customer, China. And not only that, they don't know what to plant for next season. A double hit to the bottom line. But one nation's curse is another's good fortune. Brazilian farmers are celebrating a surge in demand from China. Brazil loves Trump because Trump's working for them, or so it seems. Soy farmer Wesley Rosa said it well, quote, "The United States is provoking this fight, but it is Brazil that is going to end up benefiting," unquote. China, the world's largest soybean importer, has shifted its purchases from America to Brazil, which now accounts for over 70% of Chinese soybean imports. Meanwhile, U.S. soybean exports to China have, of course, plummeted, with some farmers questioning the viability of their operations. Again, Trump and the Republican administration have cratered the American economy and crushed American farmers specifically. They benefit other countries. So if you're an American, it's sad news and hard times to come. But if you're Brazilian and a host of other nations, it's the roaring 20s of the 21st century.
Tucker here. So we're about to get hit with a massive heat wave down here in Texas. I'm talking like 105. And there's a group of farmers, I don't know if y'all know this, a group of farmers are suing the USDA because of the Trump administration basically gutted all the climate information. And that could be some things to help forecast heat waves and droughts. So I'm spending my morning out here making sure all the animals have water, that everyone will be all right. Look, farmers need as much information as we can get. We need information such as when is a heat wave coming? When is a drought coming? How is the climate changing? Where are the new rainfall patterns coming? This is information that's very valuable to us, and these fools up in DC are just trying to gut everything, and it's hurting everyone. So it's just stupid. That's all it is.
Farmers for Trump. Farmers for Trump. Y'all might want to get in here. I know you're going to want to get in here for this one. And have a seat while you're at it. Because when I finish telling you what I just learned, your knees going to buckle. Okay. One of the first things the Trump administration did when they got in the office was they went against all those deals that the government, that Biden administration made with y'all, with the farmers, right? They reneged on contracts. They didn't bring in the last payment they were supposed to bring in. A lot of y'all are losing y'all farms because of that. Right? Because they reneged. There's this company called Acre Trader. I've mentioned this company before. This company, one of the first investors was a guy named J.D. Vance. Yes, the vice president y'all voted into office. J.D. Vance was one of the first investors. Guess who were investing along with J.D. Vance? South Africans. You get where I'm going? South Africans were investors. Many of them. So now fast forward to today. You guys are losing your land. Right? Trump just brought and is still bringing over thousands of South Africans. You get where I'm going? He's bringing in thousands of South Africans. Where you think those South Africans going to end up? Where you think they're going? Acre Trader has confiscated, or you can say purchased, whatever. I think they say it's about over 40,000 acres. The farmers that have already lost your land, I want y'all to do yourself a favor. Drive by. Give it a little minute, but drive by and see who the new owners of your farms are. Gotcha. They got y'all. They got y'all damn good. Do you see this was a plan? You see it was a plan. Now y'all see it. They played y'all the entire time. They've been playing y'all they've been playing y'all before November 4th. They knew what they were going to do when they got in there. All they needed y'all to do was fall for that old okie dokie again. You know that okie dokie that y'all never learned from. Where the wealthy white people use your hatred against black people and tell you that you are better than the most intelligent, most educated black man while they constantly picking y'all pockets. Well, now they done picked your land out from up under you. Y'all keep thinking that these rich white people are on y'all side. What you don't understand is the rich white people see y'all the same as they see us. You ain't got money. You're no use to them. You're pawns. They like to move y'all around the board. But On their level? Never. In their circle? Never. How many of y'all been out to Mar-a-Lago? Farmers. MAGA. How many times y'all been down to Mar-a-Lago? How many times has he actually invited you in his home, in his surroundings? I know how many times he done offered to a price tag for y'all to come see him. But how many times has he ever opened his doors to where he is? You guys would never be in that circle. J.D. Vance was in this company, a part of investing in this company before he even became vice president. Think about that. Now we got all these South Africans coming over here. And if they just so happens to want to wind up on your land that you lost because they reneged on those contracts, y'all got played. Y'all got faked completely out of your acres. They played y'all to the freaking hilt because you refuse to learn this age-old lesson. The rich white man ain't your friend. You are his tool that he uses. That's it. And y'all never learn. Because they know one thing they can pull on y'all. They know that one thing they can dig at that's gonna be always. It's gonna always be paid. It's gonna be pay dirt. Always. And that's that hatred for black people. They know all they gotta do is hammer on that, and they can pick y'all pockets clean. Well, now they done pick y'all out of thousands and thousands and thousands of acres of land. Because you refuse to learn. Hatred never wins. You are so filled with hatred. You're so consumed by it. Nothing means more to you. That is costing you everything you have. And some of y'all, some generational farms are lost, gone. Because y'all just have to have that hatred more than y'all need air. It's sad. But it's funny too. Because, you know, they say a fool and his money will soon part. Well, it looks like that's so damn true. Y'all refuse to learn. And they keep getting y'all. All these South Africans coming over here. They're going to cut all people, all you MAGA Trump voters here that's been on SNAP benefits, that's had Medicaid, that depends on your Social Security checks, the veteran benefits. All of that is being taken away from you and gift wrapped to these South Africans that's coming. Yeah, they're getting the full benefits of everything. They're going to get housing assistance. They're going to get Social Security. They're going to get free phones. They're going to get SNAP. Everything they cutting from you, they giving to them. They prefer them over y'all. Y'all were just useful tools. That was it. Donald Trump even told y'all at them rallies, I don't care about y'all, I just want your vote. But y'all looked at him as a comedian instead of a politician. What you should have been doing was using him as your source of entertainment. Y'all should have been going to his shows. But putting your livelihood in his hands, that was the biggest mistake y'all ever made. And the second biggest mistake is not learning from the first one. So, for those of y'all who's lost y'all land, all them Nebraska farmers and all those Iowa farmers and all y'all who went, bum rushed that damn poll and voted for Trump and J.D. Vance, they got y'all. They got y'all. Oh, they played y'all real pretty. When I say they used y'all weakness against you, and who better to know your weakness than your own? So think about it like that. While y'all busy hating us, While y'all busy detesting us, while y'all busy dreaming about unaliving us and watch us bleed and watch us hang. While y'all doing that, you really should be looking at them with that type of hatred, because we can't take from you what they taking from y'all. Even y'all hatred directed at the wrong group. You love your enemy. You are in love with the rich white man. And the rich white man is your enemy. You'll never be on their level. Never. Not in their eyesight. And as you can see, they know they can play y'all like a fiddle. J.D. Vance is paid. The South Africans have a way paid for them to come into acres and acres of land. They used to be held by Americans. So what are y'all going to do when they start deporting y'all off? So you never thought it was going to come to your doorstep, did you? Oh, it's on its way. It's on its way. You didn't vote just for our demise. You didn't know it, but you were voting for your own. And it's here. Go in and look at it. Go research it. Look into it. See when J.D. Vance, how much of a part of Acres Trader J.D. Vance is. And then look and see how many South African investors there are. And then I want you to come back and tell me with one big old smile on your face, is it great again yet? I don't know.
Here in America, we are in a dictatorship. And most people are not understanding why when people say this. So we, as a democracy, have three branches of government: the executive, the legislative, Congress, and the judicial, the Supreme Court, and the court system. They have equal power. Maybe people don't realize this about how democracy works, but the president is not king. The president does not have supreme power. The way the founding fathers set this up was three branches of government with equal power so that nobody could do what Trump is doing. Which, what is he doing that makes him a dictator? Well, he's, one, going against the Constitution. He is putting executive orders such as birthright citizenship and things like that, and getting rid of due process and getting rid of things like that that are part of our Constitution. Meaning the only way you can change a constitution is me, us, you, the people. We have to vote on it. We have to vote on it, and then Congress has to vote on it. He is not doing that. He is just doing the things he wants to do through, quote, executive orders, and you can't do that. Furthermore, he is allotting funds that Congress has already allotted. So like this thing with Harvard where he was all, oh, Harvard, if you don't do what I say, I'm pulling your funds. He literally cannot do that. That is not part of the executive branch's decisions. They do not have the purse. He was actually impeached in his first term for doing that. He was impeached because he reallotted funds all over the place, and you cannot do that. It is against it's against democracy. Thirdly, he is ignoring the judicial system. So the judicial system has caught on to this and said, you can't do these things. You cannot move funds around. That is not part of your branch of government. You cannot go against the Constitution. That is the people who vote on that. And guess what he said? As the judges put blocks and things like that in, they ruled you cannot do this. They ruled unanimously on some of these things. A very conservative Supreme Court ruled against Trump. And guess what Trump said? Fuck you, I'm doing it anyway. That is what a dictator does. Because if you are in a democracy, you would say, okay, the courts ruled we can't do that. They have equal power to me. Now we have to figure out how we can get this through, either through Congress or the judicial system. He is not doing that. He is just doing whatever the fuck he wants, which makes him a dictator. So welcome to America. We didn't realize we were going to have a dictator, but we do. It sucks. Let's start doing all the things we need to do to get this over with.
Oh, the people on the internet just piss me off. I don't know why. I let it get under my skin, but it just gets under my skin and it pisses me off. So the Wall Street Journal put up an article on Facebook yesterday. It said beef prices are going to rise this summer because cattle prices hit a record high, which makes sense because whenever cattle prices go up, beef prices have to go up because where does beef come from? Cattle. rocket science, right? Okay, so it's not that difficult. And then the people in the comments are saying, well, this is Trump's fault. He was supposed to lower grocery prices. That's what he ran on. He was supposed to lower grocery prices. How do you expect the guy to lower beef prices? How do you expect the guy to lower cattle prices? It doesn't make any sense. Whenever cattle are at record low population numbers, cattle prices go up. They're supply and demand. It's rocket science, right? And then the people in the comments are saying, well, Trump's also causing farms to fail across the country. It's like, well, how does that make any fucking sense? And you lay that out to him. You say, hey, listen, if cattle prices are at record high and we have record profits, how are farms failing? And you lay that out in the comments. You say, hey, this doesn't make sense. And the response to that is, well, fuck you, Trumper, maggot, Trump supporter, Trump lover. It's like, what are you talking about? I'm just trying to lay out how this doesn't make any fucking sense. And you have no response to it. You don't listen. Like, you're just stupid.
Rural America, I hope you're watching. Farmers and ranchers, I hope you're watching, because you're being gaslit right out of existence. Hey guys, my name's Will. This is the Back 40, and let's talk about it. Nothing summarizes, nothing epitomizes, nothing represents the gaslighting that's happening to farmers and ranchers in rural America better than the Chinese trade deal that was announced today. Can you imagine a situation in rural America at any job you hold or on any farm and ranch in this country where you could be praised, lifted up, and put on a pedestal for creating a problem, blowing up the entire economy by creating that problem, backing away from your stance that created the problem, and in the end, claiming a victory because you had to back down? That's exactly what just happened today. In rural America, farmers and ranchers, I hope you're watching, because all of America is going to pay the price, but you're going to pay a very special price. And the media plays along. Headline after headline today that Trump got his trade deal with China. And oh, what a trade deal it was. He raised the tariffs to 145%. China pushed back, raising reciprocal tariffs of their own. Farmers and ranchers lost $1.6 billion in beef sales. And Australia stepped in to fill the gap. Markets that will not come back again. Are you listening, farmers and ranchers? Up to 80% of corn crop exports gone. 37 billion metric tons of soybeans sold overseas, gone. Brazil, which used to sell China 13% of their row crop reserves and consumptibles, now sells them 43%, and those markets will not be back. Pork sales down. The threats of fowl sales, chicken, turkey, etc., going down. And what did we gain as a result? The administration admits that China gave up not one single concession to get this deal. Not one. All that happened is that the two sides agreed to lower these tariffs and to back off for 90 days, at which time they would begin to start talking about the longer term issues. So again, just to summarize, we raised tariffs on China 145%. China reciprocated and raised tariffs on the United States. Foreign markets went away that will never come back again. And billions of dollars in American agricultural sales are gone forever. All of it. All of it. So that the president and this administration, which understand agriculture and rural America about as much as I understand brain surgery and how to walk past the Shoney's all-you-can-eat breakfast bar without dipping into the biscuits and gravy, all so that they could claim a victory based on giving up, turning tail and running, rolling away with no wins, letting the Chinese show us up on the world stage, and caught in the wake, standing there in the diesel smoke, breathing in the fumes of failure, are the rural people of this country and farmers and ranchers, who more than any other group will suffer the consequences of what just happened over the past 3 months. And on top of that devastated economy, that billions of dollars in lost sales, that loss will be compounded by program after program after program designed to mitigate the risk associated with having an administration that doesn't understand rural America and agriculture. That damage will be mitigated by program after program after program going away. leaving farmers and ranchers, 30% of whom did not vote for this president, holding the bag. Many of them left with a hole in their farming and ranching budgets of anywhere from $10,000 to $300,000 because they signed a contract promising them that if they improved their operations, they'd be reimbursed for a proportion of those expenditures. Frozen, gone. Unless, of course, they were conservative farmers and ranchers screaming the loudest on social media, crying those crocodile tears. It's a sad state of affairs. And it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat, a Republican, an independent, or if you wouldn't touch politics with a 10-foot pole, you're going to suffer the consequences of this bad deal. It's time to wake up. It's time to admit you were lied to. We've got farmers in this country planting crops, not because they think they're going to sell them at a profit, but because they think they're going to get the highest amount in crop insurance for that crop when it's sold at a loss. It's time to wake up. It's time to put these culture wars aside and start voting in our best interest, because how much longer do we have with Wall Street and corporate ag and international companies standing on the sidelines waiting to buy up our small farms and ranches as they fail? As bankruptcies increase, as farmer and rancher unalivings increase in this term just like they did in his last term, it's time to wake up. Join us here at the Back 40. Go to the Back 40 Official, allspelledout.com, and join us in this fight. We can't lose very many more battles like this. We can't lose our farm programs. We can't lose SNAP in rural America. We can't lose Medicaid in rural America. We can't lose infrastructure investment in rural America. We can't allow reverse Robin Hood, where money is taken out of our rural schools and given to kids that are already attending private schools. The harm that will be done will be incalculable in rural America. And I, for one, am not going to stand idly by and watch it happen. And I want you to join me in the effort. It's time to stand up. It's time to put labels aside. It's time to do the right thing.
It's time to spill the tea on Elon Musk, Donald Trump, and this fiasco involving South African immigrants. A lot of people don't know all the little history and moving pieces, and I'm going to try to tell you the story in 2 minutes. At the end of World War II, when the Mustache Man, as they call him here, was defeated, many people who loved that ideology and believed in racial supremacy and had a lot of pseudo-scientific theories about a master race, they found a home in South Africa. There are streets named after German military leaders, and up till very recently, the Mustache Man's birthday was celebrated and people would commonly give the salute. That was the place where Elon Musk was raised, and many of Elon Musk's friends who came over here and are very prominent leaders in the tech world, including Peter Thiel. Now, what happens is when all these white supremacists moved to South Africa, they took away citizenship from the black people of South Africa, the indigenous people, and they moved them into little ghettos called Bantustans. And they tried to pretend that they had little independent societies there in these overcrowded, under-resourced ghettos. And it took years, but in the 80s, a revolution happened and the apartheid system was finally overthrown. Now, at that time, Elon Musk's family left because what had made them rich with their emerald diamond mines and cheap labor and racially structured society had been taken apart. So they left. Now, even after this revolution happened, over 70% of the wealth, as you could imagine, still resided with the white colonizers who owned just about all of the land. So having a reform to make things equal for everyone would be a complicated judicial process. but it systematically took place and is still happening to this day. You could imagine how difficult it would be to unravel that terrible system and to create something fair for everyone. Now, one of the laws in South Africa is any international investment, any big company that goes to work there, they have to be sure that 30% of the company has equity in people of South Africa, black people, marginalized people, and there are several ways they could do that. But Elon Musk and Starlink didn't like that rule, and they resisted. In other words, if Starlink was to open a business in South Africa and have offices, they would have to have at least 30% of the company black South Africans. Instead of complying with that, like Microsoft and every other big tech firm, Elon Musk started to use X to put out these crazy claims of a white genocide, things that the United Nations and every other serious human rights group said is a damaging lie perpetrated by the extreme right. In reality, there's a lot of crime in South Africa, but it affects everyone in every race proportionally and is not instigated by the government over racial animosity. But Elon Musk and Donald Trump are sending that message to the world. All propaganda requires a victim. And if you want to build a system of white supremacy here in the United States or in South Africa, you need a victim. So Elon Musk has been using X, and Trump is throwing around the genocide word and bringing in white people from South Africa and telling the world he's saving them from a genocide. Since all this happened with the tariffs, Lesotho, another African nation, succumbed to Trump's wishes, and they allowed Starlink to get a contract. And now South Africa is trying to appease Elon Musk to have other ways that he could do business in South Africa and still support the country's transitional goals. The bottom line to remember, these immigrants coming to the United States are not refugees from violence or genocide. They're refugees from equality. They want to leave equality and go to white supremacy.
Well, we're fixing to do a bit of story time. Yes, honey, because I seen the news story about Smack Daddy Jr., RFK Jr., taking his grandbabies to take a dip in the sewage, honey. Going on a swimming expedition, apparently in a sewage drain-off hole. Okay, honey. Either way, is the minute I saw that, I started laughing because of an incident that occurred that happened to me and my auntie one time when we went to visit her boyfriend that she was dating. Now, this was a long time back in the day, baby. This was early 2000s, late 90s. I mean, this was a while back. I was young. I was barely coming into adulthood, late teenage years. But either way, I'm going to tell you the story today. You can scroll on past if you don't want to hear my silly ass. They called us. They was having a party. An overnight party, and they did not have the herbs they needed to season the cookout. They couldn't get them there in Florida. They had other things for the cookout. You know, they had mushrooms and all kind of other stuff for the cookout, but they were missing the herbs for the seasoning. So they called us and invited us to the party and asked if we would bring some of our very fancy herbs with us. You know, I'm a connoisseur of a finer herb, baby. Always have been. So we said, yes, we'll absolutely bring the herbs with us for the cooking. Look at me trying to wink. Anyway, so we take off to Pensacola via I-10. Now, if you know anything about I-10, it is not a good place, safe place to be driving on with your herbage. Anyway, we take off there to Pensacola. And we are just about to exit the interstate on our exit that we need to get off at when all of a sudden the blue lights came on behind us, honey. Yes. You talking about your heart in your throat and then right out your asshole almost at the same time? Have you ever had your heart go up and then down almost at the same time? It went so quickly. Maybe I could barely catch my breath. We was shaking. We was nervous. I was weak in the knees, to say the least. So we pull on over off of the road, to take whatever we was about to take from the state trooper, when all of a sudden he just spun around us. He was just cutting his damn lights on so that he could pass us and get on his way off of the damn interstate. We had to stay parked there for about 10 minutes, catching our breath and letting our heart resettle itself back in our chest. You've been there. Anyway, once we gathered composure enough to drive down the street to where he lived, which was just right off of the interstate, so it's not like it was in a very safe place. But either way, we pull up in the front yard, out on the street in front of the house. We sat there for another 20 minutes. We couldn't even get out of the car. Just sat there, just still shaking and catching our damn breath of what we'd just been through. But anyway, we finally, about 20 minutes later, somebody actually came out of the damn house and was like, y'all ever gonna get out of the car? Yes, we're coming in. Just give us a fucking minute to gather ourselves. We almost went to jail for the rest of our lives because we decided to bring way more herbs than we needed for the cookout. I don't know what made us think we need to bring all those herbs. By the way, we actually used all those herbs in less than 24 hours, even though they were good. And the reason why we used all those herbs in less than 24 hours is when we got there, they decided they wanted to share with us some of their fungus. Yes, baby, some of their shiitake mushrooms. So late that night, we had shiitake mushrooms, and Molly came to the party too. Yes, Molly came to the party too. Well, early that morning, as soon as the sun rose, everybody was still awake from hanging out with Molly and having some fungus. And her boyfriend had a really good idea. He said, I got a fishing hole that makes a great swimming hole. We should go to the fishing hole and fish and swim. We thought this was a fabulous idea. He said he found a fishing hole that nobody knew about at all. So we get our stuff together. I got my bucket hat on, my fishing hat. I brought it with me because I do like to fish. I am a fishing girl, honey. I prefer a cane pole on a riverbank, but deep sea's fine with me. Wherever you want to fish, I'm ready. Let's go. So I got my bucket hat on, and we show up at this place, and he told us, he's like, there's even a cliff that you can jump off of into the water. So we show up at the top of the cliff of this special fishing hole, and I look out and realize it is a goddamn sewage runoff hole. You could literally see the sewage pipes running off into the water. Green shit. Baby. I looked at my auntie and I said, you better not get in that water. That is a sewage hole. That is a sewage hole, honey. So yes, it does not surprise me at all that the man who endorsed the lady who enjoys a bit of shiitake mushrooms would take his grandchildren to a sewage hole. It completely checks. It completely checks because I've had some shiitake mushrooms and I've had a fool try to convince me to swim in a sewage hole too. It absolutely checks. Yep, absolutely believable, buddy. Absolutely. We never swam in that hole, and I damn sure didn't eat any fish that he thought he caught out of that hole. She stopped dating him after that day because it became real clear to her, dear, that he was not all there. That was a fun day, by the way. I look back on the memories of me standing there on the top of that damn clay rock cliff looking down into that hole. My aunt took a picture of me, and I had on my bucket hat. It felt like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Standing up there with my cigarette and my bucket hat on. Out of my damn mind, looking at people jumping in a damn sewage hole to swim. I was like, this is straight up Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, only it's Fear and Loathing in Pensacola, Florida. So yes, it absolutely checks that the man who boards the H train and enjoys a shiitake mushroom or two would take his grandchildren to swim in a sewage hole. The only thing missing is it wasn't in Florida. Anyway, let me get my silly ass off of this damn ticky-tacky.